Oh yeah, this how we starting the night off tonight, or whatever time you watch this video. This how we starting it off. Dentists are of a conspiracy of vampires. Yeah, I'm anxious to see this too. I couldn't wait. So listen, you know how this goes. Question everything. You should. And remember, this is for entertainment purposes only. Let's get to it.
All dentists are vampires. Okay, maybe not all dentists, but most of them. Hear me out. What are some things that we know about vampires? Number 1, they don't show up in mirrors. Number 2, they don't show up in pictures. Number 3, silver hurts them. The first 2 are wrong. Alright, so the first mirrors were made from silver, polished silver that was reflective. Early photographs used some kind of silver in the developing process. We've come past that now. There's no silver in mirrors. There's no silver in digital photographs. Vampires will show up in them. So, what do we have left to identify vampires with because they now show up there? Their teeth. So, here's what the crafty little vampires did. They became dentists. They filed their teeth down and have been handing that tradition down through generations of dentistry. It's the perfect cover. There isn't actually any procedures that they need to put you under for. That's when they take your blood. They take it in a little spot in your mouth where you won't be able to see it later, but you'll be like, oh, yeah, it makes sense that there was a needle there because the dentist said that they were going to do the thing. But they took your blood. It's an invisible wound. It's in your mouth. What's another thing we know about vampires? They hate garlic. What's the last thing that's going to be on your breath before you go to the dentist? Not garlic. You're going to brush your teeth 10 times because you're anxious. Oh, but what about sunlight? Have you ever seen a dentist outside? Didn't think so. They're always in their office. So, I'm not saying that all dentists, well, I'm saying it. I really want to say it. I shouldn't say it. Not all dentists might be vampires, but the ones who aren't, they know. They know about the other vampires that are dentists. Not all vampires are dentists. Obviously, I'm not going to put them in a box. They can do what they want, but a lot of them are dentists, and the rest of them need those other ones to be dentists. They walk among us. They show up in mirrors. We know this because we can see them in mirrors now, and photographs. They've hidden their fangs, and they became dentists. All dentists are...
Like, this is definitely the dude you want to have a drink with and just let him talk. You know what I mean? You want to sit down, have a few drinks, get drunk, and just let him just go off of his conspiracy theory brain. Just get it activated and let him go. Bro, that'd be the most entertaining night you ever had. I promise you it would be, bro. Oh, man, other than that, he might need to go outside and touch grass for just a moment. Just a moment.
You want to know how cold it is in New York? This is how cold it is in New York. That's cold. It's cold. This New York cold. How cold it is. You want to know how...
Oh, no, that's crazy. That's crazy. And that Joker there had some meat on his bones. That's a big... That ain't a rat. That's big. That's a rodent. That's a beaver. Like, he almost a beaver size. That Joker there got some weight on him. He been eating good. Dang.
I believe we touched down on the right rear landing gear, and then we went to the right hard and hit hard. At that point, I'm assuming the left side's gonna come down, right? Because every plane I've ever been on lands and comes to a stop and taxis. But it didn't, right? It kept turning. Plane was rotating. We're on our side. And, soon we're upside down. And that's when it hits you. I'm in a plane crash. Everyone is relatively calm. People are helping the people around them get upright, gather their things. There was some shouting back and forth. Is somebody opening the doors? We need to get off this plane. The smell of jet fuel became very strong. We could see jet fuel going over the windows, pooling up. I don't know, I call it a pond underneath the plane. It was windy out yesterday, and that jet fuel was pooling up to the point where there were ripples in this small lake of jet fuel under the plane. And seeing the videos today of the fireball we landed in, it just seems inconceivable that we weren't on fire. I believe we touched down on...
He sounded just like the other guy. You could tell his emotions are still heightened. He sounds just like the other guy. The other guy's voice was shaky. You could hear it cracking a little bit. Like their emotions are still like it's so fresh on their minds still, man. I can only imagine. I can only imagine. Jeez. Yo, prayers for Kentucky. And I'm thinking about that, and I'm also thinking about Detroit, because they had the same flooding problem, and then theirs froze. So it's like the water came, destroyed the cars, and then just sat there and froze. And it's like, wow, I've never seen nothing like what we're witnessing, man, with the weather, the natural disasters. This is too much.
And those spots on this pizza are mice droppings. The Marion County Health Department tested the slices and says the droppings were baked into the product. This was Jonathan McNeil's pizza purchase.
So you open up that pizza box, and then what?
And then I really lost my mind. Like, I just couldn't believe that they sold me a pizza with mice poop all on the bottom of it.
Jonathan McNeil did not like what he saw in his pizza pie, and neither did his girlfriend, Star Carter.
I looked at the rest of my pizza at the bottom, and I just seen it all over. Then I flipped the whole pizza over, and I seen it, and I freaked out. And I showed him, and we immediately knew what it was.
Lab results also found mice hair on the product and concluded the sample was unacceptable and potentially hazardous. The pizza takeout was from the Little Caesars at 21st and Meridian Street in Indianapolis, all happening on February the 6th. Following Jonathan's complaint, the business temporarily lost its license and then reopened the next day to increased inspections.
We want to make sure people feel safe where they eat. We want people to...
And those spots on this pizza...
Ain't no way they solved that problem and was ready to go the next day. Ain't no possible way you could tell me that was all done in a day. First of all, how does that even happen? Second of all, how many people possibly ate pizza from them that day with those droppings? Because most of the time, think about it. I know y'all don't want to think about it, but I'm going to make you think about it. Think about how you open that box up. You look at that pizza, but you don't really dissect that pizza like that. And if you got a meat lover's pizza, you really wouldn't see it. So how many people just grabbed the slice? Oh my God. And just went in and just ate without even I'm gonna be sick. I'm gonna be sick. No wonder it's and it's ready when you get there. So that's like Yeah, we gotta go to the next clip.
I'm late to the party on this one, y'all. Did y'all see this article in the New York Post saying that the people who are receiving SNAP benefits, they're trying to get rid of them being able to purchase sugary drinks and junk food? Now, as a person that grew up getting food stamps, I don't know about this one. Because there was nothing like coming home from school after a long day, cracking open a pantry or a cabinet door and grabbing you a little Nutty Buddy or something, a little Debbie snack. I don't know about this one, but your girl got a sweet tooth. What do y'all think? Because they say about 30% of food stamps goes to junk food. And that's a lot if I think about it as an accountant. But if I just thinking about it as me, God, I got a sweet tooth. I mean, that's probably why I had 13 cavities, y'all. What do y'all think? Leave it in the comments if y'all think this is legit. Somebody think they Michael.
Jaja, Rascal. What is? Watch out. Watch out, watch out. Hey, watch out, watch out. $70,000 for that, you know? And you can't come out of the snow to clot. A joke thing this. Watch out, watch out. Watch out. Hey, yo. Watch out, look who can't just pass. Me bumbo clot. Watch out. And next look who can't pass. A joke thing this to bumbo clot. Nah, man, would I want a refund. Refund. Watch out, watch out, watch out. Watch out, watch out. Watch out. Nah, man, a joke thing this, man. Watch out, watch out, watch out, watch out, watch out, watch out. Refund. Oh, that's a refund. 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 Nah, man. Nah, man. Jaja. This look like the being man life. Stuck. Jaja. Jaja.
That's insane. Why do I feel like this vehicle is supposed to be able to do way more than I'm seeing it do? This is crazy. I thought this vehicle, it was nothing this vehicle couldn't handle. But here lately, I'm seeing that this vehicle can't really do nothing. I just watched some dude, I should have got his name, it popped up on my TikTok feed. And he took, first of all, he took like a hammer and was like, how many times you think it'll take me to bust the windows with a hammer? He did it on the second try. Then he was like, I want to tear off the fender. See, normally like however many times it won't happen, but he went to pulling off the little plastic around the fender and it just came off by hand. Then he chipped away something around the A post and B post of the vehicle. Sorry, that's the firefighter in me. That's the only way I know how to describe it, where it sat on the car. And he started just pulling it back, and it looks like the car was glued together. Literally, I wish I knew his name so I could reference that video, but it looked like the car was glued together. It was like, man, we were sold a lemon. People were sold a lemon. You thought this vehicle had all the capabilities, but all we're seeing is it can't do nothing.
Taking bribes, that the feds had a bus on standby today to drive them over to court. The overflow of suspects were soon seen being led away into U.S. Marshal vans. All the arrests began early this morning. Here, Homeland Security Investigations agents, along with City Department of Investigation detectives, seen taking away some workers from the Baisley Park houses in Queens. New York City Housing Authority properties, or NYCHA properties, raided this morning to arrest supers and assistant supers from the Latimer and Woodside houses in Queens to the Taft and MLK houses in Harlem.
Superintendents accepting and extorting bribes from contractors had become business as usual, occurring in almost 100 NYCHA buildings across all 5 boroughs.
Prosecutors say bribe schemes like these have been ongoing for a decade, involving jobs like window replacements or plumbing, $10,000 or less, no-bid contracts, at the discretion of the super to get the work done. But too often, to get the work, investigators say that contractors had to give the NYCHA workers, like these, a big kickback, meaning more money to line pockets and less money to improve living conditions.
These victims may have been cheated out of better services and programs meant to improve their lives.
NYCHA houses about 300,000 New Yorkers, and the agency gets about $1.5 billion in federal aid. This latest public housing corruption investigation began about a year ago. The feds and DOI say they documented $2 million in bribes on $13 million in contracts.
If the contractors didn't pay up, the defendants wouldn't give them the work. That's classic pay to play. And this culture of corruption at NYCHA ends today.
Tough talk from the U.S. attorney, who said in addition to the 70 charged today, more arrests could soon be coming.
PSA, everyone, there is a new scam that is going around that I almost fell for, and they texted me. It is they texted the toll. They have an unpaid toll, and it is true. I have like 10 unpaid toll tickets that are just like laying around that I'm trying to figure out how.
Now I'm seeing why these scammers knew this was a lucrative business to go after. 10 You had 10. You wasn't in, you had no intention of paying those at all. Wow, 10. How do you get 10 of them?
Out of dispute because I have an Easy Pass. Well, I have a Sun Pass. And apparently the Easy Pass and the Sun Pass are together and they're supposed to work. But that's neither here nor there. There is a new scam that is going around that basically states that you have an unpaid toll and you need to go to the link and you have to pay for it. And it seemed like totally legit. I clicked the website, there was like a little lock on it, like it was all legit. And then it was like $6.99 allegedly. And I was like, oh, okay, that's probably, sounds about right. And I went on, put my card information in, and then after it started asking for my 4-digit PIN, I was like, that sounds not right. So I exited out, and then like a couple hours later, I saw an article that was saying that there was this scam going around for the toll. And I was like, oh! So what I did was I canceled my card, and I reported it lost. So I have a new card coming in, and I locked my card so that nothing happens, and nothing happened, thank God. But there is a scam going around, so definitely be careful. I'm going to show you the text that I received right here, because I don't know how to do the video and picture thing, and yeah, I'm going to show you right now. Look at me figuring things out. Look, this was the text. Okay, now how do I figure out how to get my head out the way? Okay, there it goes. Look at it. You see? Be careful out there. These people are trying to get you.
Now this looks like the exact same one we reacted to before. Looks like same wording, same exact wording. The same HTTPS dot whatever I'm seeing. If I can recall, I think that was the same one. So it looks like they just copy and paste and just sending them out to all the numbers they can get their hands on. So be on the lookout.
They're getting smarter and smarter by the day. Joke's on them. I don't got no money for them to take.
Hey, I'm gonna show y'all something, man. This is crazy, right? You know how y'all be going to McDonald's and Wendy's and eating chicken nuggets and chicken sandwiches? Well, I'm gonna show you how they make this. Alright. Mechanically separated chicken. Now watch this. This is chicken nuggets and chicken sandwiches and shit, man. That's what they make that with. Y'all please share this, man. This
Would you eat that?
Yeah. I just had some nuggets from Wendy's last week. I don't need no more. I don't need no more. Right now, the only nuggets you gotta worry about me eating is Chick-fil-A. Tell me there's something wrong with Chick-fil-A, man. So I don't have to eat those either. I ain't going back to Wendy's anyway, bro. That was the last, what was it, 5 for $5 I'm ever eating. That whole thing made me not feel good at all. At all. I don't feel like the burger was real. The nuggets was bad. The fries was cold. Like the quality of food, it's horrible. It's horrible. You ain't got to worry about it. It's a lot of places I've crossed off my list right now.
Everybody's up in the firestorm because they like Trump talking about he gonna take away sugary snacks and you can't get no more chips and you can't get no more Dr. Peppers and you can't get no more fruit snacks on no EBT. Everybody upset, and then everybody coming out talking about, well, it's about the kids' health. Because it was never about the kids' health. Because y'all don't even care about kids getting pew-pewed in school. So now you can tell me that you care about their blood pressure too? Shut the because you're lying. So before y'all get to crying, screaming, throwing up at the wall, all that extra sort of stuff, the reason why I personally don't think it's gonna happen, because it's Trump. And I'll expound on that. Why I'm expound on that is because since when does Trump do anything that is for the greater good of people? Like, y'all are using the excuse of we want to take away sugary stuff because we want kids to be healthy. Okay. Since when does that gave anything about anybody other than himself and corporations and his bank accounts and his best rich buddies' bank accounts? He's in the corporations' pockets. Okay? That's Pepsi, that's Coca-Cola, that's Kellogg's, that's all of them. Yeah, it's all of them. Tyson, all of them. So I'm just putting on a think cap real quick. I'm not saying that people on food stamps buy the majority of the food, but they buy some of the food. They buy some of the food. They already priced that in. They like, I already know I'm finna get this much money from the people with the EBT. Even if they lowball, they're like, I'm finna get this much because we know they finna buy it. Even if that's like 10, 20% of maybe their sales, maybe only 10%, maybe 5%. That 5% dip, them corporations been making money hand over fist since this pandemic. And it ain't over. The pandemic ain't over. But the point is, since it's been over, since the pandemic, they've been making money hand over fist. So you mean to tell me that even if they lost that 5-10% of the revenue stream, that they're not going to be on the lines like, where's my money? What the you mean? You're not giving people with EBT sugar? No. Get that orange mother on the phone because my yacht, it got declined. No, it didn't. But the point is, I feel like it might just because I got an eighth of a trillion billion less than what I had last week or 2 months ago because before he made that guy bill. Fix it. Get him on the phone. That's what's finna happen. Them corporations finna let that happen. That's just my personal opinion. I don't know nothing about nothing, but that's just my opinion. All right, bye.
Bailey is working at a Playhouse theater when this was captured.
Been hearing a noise. It's a really beautiful theater, as you can see, if you can see it at all. But I keep hearing a noise in here, and there's not supposed to be anybody here, so just double checking, but I wanted to film it just in case. There's the ghost light. It's a light we keep on for ghosts, for people who still remain here and whatnot. And what the what is that? Hold on, let me get a better look.
Says everyone in a horror movie right before they die. Oh, let me go get a better look. It's a death line.
We're hearing tonight a warning from one of the several hundred FAA employees who was just fired. I'm, quote, I'm scared to death, and the American public should be scared too, is what we're hearing from Charlie Statlander, who says he was working on an urgent FAA defense program in Hawaii to detect incoming cruise missiles. He thought his job would be spared because it focused on national security. But on Friday, along with hundreds of other FAA probationary employees, he was fired, and Charlie joins me now. And thank you for being here. It's great to have you, because obviously this warning, you say that the American public should be scared by your firing and the hundreds of your FAA colleagues as well. Why is that?
Hey, Caitlin, thank you so much for having me on tonight. And, thank you for giving me the platform to tell my story. I wish I was here under different circumstances, but alas, here we are. So I do think the American public does need to be concerned about not only my firing, but also the firing of so many public safety, national security professionals at the FAA and, within the Department of Transportation, but, writ large also throughout the federal government. And I gave that quote about being scared to death because, while I can't talk about the specifics of the project I worked on and what all I was doing, what I can tell you is that the FAA National Defense Program that I was a part of and was incredibly proud to work for the mission, to accomplish the mission of, has an incredibly important national security role. And I was working on incredibly important national security work. And by being summarily fired without any warning, actually while I was in the process of working, I think that is detrimental to national security.
You were at work.
Anytime somebody says, I can't really discuss what I was working on, yeah, that makes me nervous right there. That there should raise your antennas and be like, uh-oh, we might be in some trouble. Now, I hope this isn't like the situation where they let the people go that was working on, what was the bird flu stuff? And they realized they made a mistake. Now they're trying to rehire those people back, possibly, or something like that, whatever I was hearing. I hope this isn't that. He said national security.
When you got fired?
I had actually just returned from a work trip, a briefing at one of our Air Force bases, and I was working late into the night, which again is, I think, further evidence. I'm just one of hundreds of thousands of federal employees who work way more than 40 hours a week. And it goes to show that the rumors that are being spread by the administration and DOJ that federal workers are just leeches on the government are incorrect. But with that said, I had just returned home from a briefing, a work trip. I had another one scheduled actually for today, and I was working late into the night after I had returned home to get my notes and my thoughts down so that I could prepare them to share with, my boss and other folks in my branch before I actually went to my briefing this week.
Well, and Charlie, I just wonder what you say about this, given you talk about this defense radar system that you're working on. I know you can't go into the details of that, but the White House defended these cuts by saying no air traffic controllers nor any professionals who perform safety critical functions were terminated. Is that accurate from what you know?
So again, I was in the FAA National Defense Program, so I don't really have any knowledge on the air traffic controller side of that. But I can tell you that the second part of that regarding public safety or critical public safety, from my perspective and the work I was doing is a flat out false statement.
Charlie Statlander, I know that this obviously came as a shock to you. Thank you for coming on and sharing your experience. It's good to hear from someone who actually went through this instead of just looking at the numbers, to actually hear from a person who was affected by this. Thank you for sharing that with me tonight.
Hey, thank you so much, Caitlin.
The U.S. Department of Agriculture is now working to rescind termination letters sent to employees working on bird flu response. Those workers were...
This is what I was talking about right here. This part right here. So they're working to rescind it. So what would y'all do? Would y'all go back? You know what I mean? Would you receive that letter and hear them say they made a mistake? Now, mind you, I would already be on some... All right, I got to figure out a way to work for myself so this don't happen to me again. But would you go back? I mean, it's hard out here right now. You might have to tuck your pride and your ego aside and go provide for your family. And if that's the case, then that's a no-brainer. Yeah, I'm going back. But if you have the ability to not go back and be okay and still continue to make it and function, and some people might not, what would you do?
Were among the scores of firings at multiple federal agencies, including the U.S. Forest Service. Joining us now is Amanda Mae Downey. Amanda, thank you for coming on. So you worked for the Forest Service. Did you ever think you'd be in this position? You would be on the chopping block?
So as a probationary employee, there's always that risk, right? But I worked hard and I did my job, and I did not think that this would be something that would happen to someone who goes in under these conditions and proves themselves and works really hard. And that's been a real gut punch for me.
I imagine it has been. And from what I read, you have a family that you're trying to support. Tell us about the process of termination, what that was like for you. Are you still getting paid? When does your pay end?
Yeah, so I received a text message from my supervisor asking if I had a minute to talk. I was actually busy helping my daughter move unexpectedly in Grand Rapids from her college apartment. And then he called and left a voicemail. I was still busy. I missed it. I did call him back. He said that I needed to come in and speak to him before, I believe it was close of business on Monday, that we had to wrap it up over the weekend. And so as directed by my union, I sent a message just clarifying that I was going to receive premium pay as a callback to be called in on a holiday. He did respond and confirm that I would be. And so then I went in on Monday to receive my termination letter from OPM, which I believe you guys have a copy of, and was able to pack up my stuff. I had to turn over my accountable property to another employee. I was there for about 3 hours, I think.
See, you may have a right to file an appeal with the Merit Systems Protection Board on the limit of ground set forth in 5 CFR. Number, any such appeal must be filed within 30 days of effective date of the decision or 30 days after the date of the receipt of this decision, which is later. Your review, you should review MSPB regulations at 5 CFR 1201.14, 1201.124 for the instruction on how to file electronic appeal, blah, blah, blah. For more information, visit and give the information. We appreciate your service to the agency and wish you the greatest success in your future endeavors. If you have any offboarding questions, wow. Received and accepted under duress is what she wrote. I wonder what people are writing similar to this. Received and accepted under duress, 2/17/2025.
So we're showing it here on the screen. You say received and accepted under duress. Why was it important to you to add that line?
It was really important to me because there are so many policies under concern that we don't believe are being followed as employees, and we are, looking to our union for guidance on those things. And the possibility that it sounds like with this being such a sheer volume of employees that this is a RIF. And there are policies that have to be followed if we are under a RIF. And you can't just come in and sweep out all the worker bees because that's the easiest thing to do.
So, and going back, and I apologize if I missed this, but I'm just curious, what is the package like for you? Are you given pay through a certain time period? Is your pay cut off immediately? I just want to better understand that.
Yeah, so I apologize. I was so focused on the prior question. Okay. So there was a lot of concern over the weekend. So FEMI, the national account from where all of our paychecks come from, we were aware there was going to be some maintenance as government purchase card holders, but there was never any mention about our paychecks. And all of our paychecks, most of us, it gets deposited on, Friday, Saturday, even Sunday, and it was pending all weekend. Some people said it showed up and then disappeared. I will say that my check did deposit and finalize today, so I am glad for that. I should have one more paycheck coming to me from this last week for the pay period, and I have been told I will receive my annual leave, and if I had any credit hours built up, I would receive that. We do not receive our sick time that we have reserved.
So you worked with the Forest Service.
Yeah, that's like with most places. I think when I left somewhere, your sick time you can get cut a check for your vacation, but your sick time didn't go with you. You didn't get a check cut for that. Now, the craziest thing is I would have so many questions with this situation here, especially like I've been hearing from the people who talk about the probationary period. A lot of people who are on probationary periods right now that are federal workers are walking around on pins and needles right now because they don't know. They don't know. And people are just randomly, it ain't talks, it's just you come into work one day and you're finding out that, okay, your services are no longer needed today. And that's how people are finding out. That's what I'm hearing.
Which manages and maintains public forests and grasslands and is critical in wildlife protection. What is your biggest concern now that so many of the agency's workers are gone? What do you think the impact will be? Do you think people will feel this?
Definitely. I think it's going to be a tremendous impact. First it's going to hit us and our families and our amazing coworkers, and that's going to impact our communities. It's going to have a ripple effect. Eventually, you will see that our natural resources and our beautiful public lands will not have the same standard of care, and that's going to affect tourism and our economy. I have lived and worked and played in this community my entire life and chose to stay here, and I genuinely believe in that. And to see the impact that this is going to have, knowing that my community depends so strongly on our tourism, is just heartbreaking.
Just to be clear, I know we have to go, but did you get any reviews that you weren't performing the way that you should have been or anything like that?
I received a merit-based pay increase this fall, which if you're an unsatisfactory employee, you would not receive that.
Amanda May Downey, thank you so much. I appreciate you coming on and sharing your story, and best of luck to you.